Hey guys, for this video we're going to take a dulled out blonde and we're going to do a full foil and make her practically a platinum blonde, but still leaving her with tons of dimension. If you guys want, you can follow me on Instagram at Christy@the_cottage. Here's my client. You can see that she's pretty blonde, but she's kind of dull and she's not as bright as she could be. We normally do a backcombed foil and she saw a few of my platinum blondes that I had posted and she messaged me and was like, that is what I want. Make me as bright of blonde as possible. So that's what we're doing today, but we're going to leave her with a little dimension. You guys know how picky I am about my hairline foils and how big of a deal it is to do your foils vertically instead of horizontally when you're doing foils around the face. That way you get nice blended highlights versus really big like racing stripes kind of going up the side of the head. So that's why I always do my foils this way. I had somebody ask me why if the hair processes faster in the front versus in the back, why do I start in the front when it's going to have to be pulled out faster? And that's because I keep a really quick eye on these. I always check my foils. I'll let it sit for a while, and then when I know it's done, I'll check them and I'll pull them out. So the reason why I like to start in the front, and it was kind of hard to explain trying to type it all out, but I feel like if I start and work my way towards the front of the face versus starting at the front and working my way back, I have less control over how everything falls on the hairline. Imagine starting behind the ear and you're working your way forward. You really don't know with your sectioning, are you going to end on an angle? You can try to keep your foils as straight as possible, but the way the head is shaped, for me personally, maybe y'all got it down, I don't know, but I just prefer doing it this way because I just can't guarantee where I'm going to end on the face. I'd rather know for sure where I'm starting at and where I'm going versus what I'll be left with and not be able to be as detailed with my work as what I like. So imagine maybe you only have a little subsection of hair to work with by the time you get to the front because you've already foiled everything. So that's just personally what I like to do it. And I honestly don't know if I'm making any sense right now. Sometimes I feel like the way I understand it in my head doesn't quite come across to you guys. And I wish I could visually show you on a mannequin, but I just don't know if that's something you guys would be interested in. I've kind of thought about the idea of a do and don't video as far as foiling techniques and color wise or whatever. Everybody does things their own way, but I feel like there's things that I've seen where I'm I feel like it could be done better. And I know I'm sure people look at my stuff and think that it could be done better, but anyways, this is just how I foil. I like going towards the back, starting at the front, just because I know exactly how the hairline is going to look like. I don't want to take my chances and miscalculate hair or the sectioning size or the angle of the foil. And then when I get to the very front of the hairline, now all of a sudden my foils are off. So that's just why I like to do it that way, because I like having more control. And however you guys like to do it, whatever works for you, that's fine too. For her foils directly in the front, I'm going to kind of do two different sections. That way I make sure that I have full coverage all along her hairline up at the front. I want to make sure that the top of the foils on the side reach the whole length of the forehead. So that way I'm going to make sure that I'm doing one side and then kind of go diagonally off the other side and back and forth. That way everything just blends really nicely and we have a full coverage going across the whole section of the forehead. Sometimes I feel like if you work straight down the center of the forehead, then maybe the forehead might be too broad to where you're leaving a few pieces out just on the edges, and that can make a difference. Like if they pull their hair back all the way, then they might have like a few pieces in the back or like on the sides that are really dark. And so I sometimes feel like going like from side to side or kind of diagonally down the center to where you're kind of angling it on one side then towards the other. That might work too, because then it looks a little bit natural and leaving like a little bit of a subsection in between. So for her, she wants to be nice and bright and bold, and because she wants to be as bright as possible, I am doing it a little bit heavier. I'm not really leaving much subsection in between for her money piece. That way she has this really nice bright piece of blonde up in the front. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen this technique for foiling the back hairline before. Jamie Dana hairstylist actually did a video, and this was kind of how she foiled the back section on the hairline, and I wanted to try it. I've done this in my videos a few times before, but I just wanted to give credit to her because sometimes I feel like you see something gaining popularity or whatever, and then like a few big hairstylists catch on and then they claim it as their own, or they give it a name and be like, oh, look at my like backwards foil that I created. And it's like, no, you didn't. That's been around for a while, and it just like totally gets under my skin because I feel like we all try different things and feel like we come up with it on our own, but in reality, like, so are other people too. So I wouldn't want to take credit for something that like somebody else came up with that I know for sure of. So I saw this from Jamie Down. If you guys haven't watched her videos on YouTube or Instagram, she has great education. I highly recommend you looking her up if you haven't already. But this is where I learned how to foil this way, just on the hairline. And actually one thing that I have done is actually clipped the foil back to the head, like back around the corner of the head. That way it's more secure and it doesn't like flop around or anything. But I posted a video of that on my Instagram, so if you follow me on Instagram, then you've probably already seen it. But if you haven't tried foiling this way, I highly recommend it because it honestly makes it so much easier. Okay, now that we are kind of like into the video a little bit, I have to give a shout out, my first shout out. Hey, so I was in a hair group on Facebook, and I don't know what we were talking about, blonde something, I don't really know, but anyways, somebody saw me on there, and which I was shocked because my name on Facebook is not my real name at all for personal reasons. And he was like, because I was talking about like a video or a blonde thing, I think, and I was like, oh, sharing information or whatever, and he was like, oh my god, he's like talking to me, he's like, I can't, like, what, hey, whatever, and I was like, oh, that's so funny that you follow me on YouTube or whatever. And so he's like, I want a shout out, so this is me giving Wayne Mason a shout out. Thank you for following me and being interactive, I appreciate it. And thanks for taking the time to watch my videos. All right, now we're getting into the longest part of the video, the foiling, the whole damn thing. Starting from the bottom, now we're here. We made it. So we're going to start here and work our way to the top. Now that I have my whole hairline done and I know that everything's perfect and going to look amazing around the hairline, because let's be honest, when people pull their hair back, that's what they see the most. So you want to make sure that you have that nice and perfected. So again, that's why I always do that first. So now that we're getting into the foil part of it, what I'm gonna do is I'm not doing any subsections in her hair at all because she wants to be like platinum blonde, pretty solid, but I am taking little baby light weaves, so that's gonna be her dimensional pieces that will be leaving out. So even though we are doing like the fullest foil on the block, she's gonna have teeny little bits of dimension going through of her natural color, just for like a very, very, very soft hint of dimension. So right now we're just going to go through. Also, I forgot to mention, I'm using Schwarzkopf Blonde Me lightener with 20 volume and Olaplex, and I really love this because it gets such a nice bright blonde. I've never had problems with like damage or over processing. I don't know if it's because I also include the Olaplex in there, but this is one of my favorite bleaches to use, so I highly recommend it if you haven't tried it before. And let's just get into the foil. Oh, another thing. One reason why I also like doing my hairline foil is because, say that I do anywhere like around the temples, like 3 to 5 foils back, even on the down on the nape of the neck. If I do that many foils back, then that makes my section that I have to work up and foil in the back like a lot smaller. So then I have to do less sections of foils, if that makes any sense. I really don't like the idea of having like a whole bunch of sectioning, like doing, some people will do like a section on the sides of the head, and then in the back they'll almost do like 3 small sections too, and I feel like that's just, why are you making that many sections? One thing that I've never really understood when I see people foil is that they'll take really small sections and they'll only utilize maybe like half of the foil, so that when they lay the hair on the foil, the hair really only like extends through the center part of the foil, and then when they like fold it up and like fold it shut, it's like they're folding in almost like an inch on either side of the foil. Like, you're wasting so much space. That's so much more hair that you could be foiling, and so much less work that you could be doing by maybe, instead of having 3 sections that you're foiling in the back, maybe you utilize the whole size of the foil without causing drag or pulling too much hair into the foil if it extends beyond the foil. But if you utilize the whole space of the foil instead of just the center part of it, then maybe you only have to do like 2 sections of foils up the back of the head versus 3. So that's kind of why I like foiling around the hairline first, because when I get those like 3 to 5 foils working my way back, that creates less room that I have to foil, so that way I'm usually able to do like 2 sections of the back versus having to do 3. Okay, now that I'm getting to the wider part of the head and the back here, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm kind of going side to side. I'm not doing like a whole long section like on the right side of the head and foiling all the way up to the right from bottom to top and then starting on the left side and working from bottom to top. The reason why I don't do that is because I really want to make sure that the hair is processing evenly. I don't want to start on the right side and then get all the way to the top, finish the right side, and then I haven't even touched the left side yet. So I prefer like going from side to side and working my way up together. That way I know that the bleach is processing evenly. I don't want 45 minutes to go by because I'm telling you guys, I'm a really slow ass foiler. So I don't want like 45 minutes to an hour to go by where one side is processing and now it's probably done and then I haven't even started the other side yet. So that's why I don't really section my or that's why I don't section probably typically like most people do. I'd rather work side to side and process evenly versus over processing one side over the other. Okay, now that we're officially working on the side of the head, you can see here that if I would have extended my hairline foils to beyond where her ear is, if I would have done maybe like 7 foils, 10 foils, or more, then this back section that I'm foiling right now, I probably would have only had to do like this one row on this side and then the same row on the opposite side and not having to worry about doing a center row of foils up the back center of the head. So that again is another positive of starting your foils on the hairline because it creates less work for you to have to do in as far as how many rows of foils you need to section out. Hi guys, story time. So it is 2 in the morning and I'm doing my voiceover and I literally can't even keep my eyes open and I feel like I'm getting like man voice because I'm tired, so my voice is getting like crackly and like deeper. And anyways, I just want to apologize that if I sound like a frog, then that's why. It's because it's 2 in the morning and I still probably have an extra hour to go. And then I have to wake up like an hour and a half after I finish doing this so that I can upload it to you beautiful people. So, yeah, I just want to give you that little bit of information. One thing that I always hate about myself is my voice. Like, I'm not kidding you. When I grew up, like, I would answer the phone and people would always be like, "Oh, hi, David, is your mom there?" And I was like, it's Christy. Well, then eventually, like, they would just answer, or, they'd call and I'd answer. And they'd be like, "Oh, hi, David, is your mom there?" And eventually it just got to the point where it's just like, yeah, just a second. Like, I just wouldn't correct people anymore because I felt like, why does it matter? I just sound like a guy, so, like, I'm just gonna sound like a dude for the rest of my life. So, anyways, like, when I upload a video, my boyfriend will try, like, if he comes across the video, like, I will yell at him, "Turn the volume down!" Like, I start panicking because nobody likes to hear their voice, like, when you leave it on the answer machine or whatever. Like, he laughs at me because I can't stand it. I'm always like, turn that crap off. Like, don't not watch the video because now you've, like, started the video and you're gonna hurt my algorithm if you don't finish the video. But just turn the damn volume off, like, mute it. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys, that it's 2 in the morning and I feel extra manly with my voice right now. So, anyways, thanks for listening. Okay, now that we're kind of getting to the top section of the side and working our way over the top of the head, I would like to say that I feel like the best way, okay, I know there's not a best way, okay, I know that. Everyone's got a preference. But I feel like clients nowadays, especially blondes, I feel like they like their blonde foils to be very, very blended and to not have a lot of streakiness or stripes in the hair. I feel like that might be coming back a little bit, but that's kind of few and far between. So, you know how you can look at where her bangs are and see how the foils are just going, like, down the center of the head. And say if you just finished off her mohawk, going down the center of her head that way, that would, even if you don't have any subsections, like if you did like weaves or streaks or minimal subsection, like that would still create very heavy lines in the hair. So even though they'd be like really tightly packed or really close in there, it would still create lines in the hair. So one thing that I like to do is foil around the head this way, because all of the hair just kind of lays on top of it and it just creates a really nice, soft, pretty blend. It brightens it up. You can't see like where one foil starts or one foil finishes. You can't see any lines in the hair or anything. So I would highly recommend foiling this way. Just working your way. I call it like a halo foil, just because it's like kind of going over the top halo part of the head. And I feel like this is the best way to foil to get a really blended look. You can still have like some pieces in there, and depending on like, does the client want to have really heavy blonde, then you could do like no subsections or extremely fine subsections and do like a slice and then a weave subsection. Slice, weave, subsection. If they want to have a lot of dimension in the hair, then you could do like weave, subsection, slice, subsection, and so on and so forth. If somebody wants to just be really, really bright, then you could just do like slice, minimal subsection, slice, minimal subsection. So I kind of like it better this way, because you can create different types of brightness and dimensional pieces within the hair, versus if you foil just straight down the mohawk, then you're either going to create like a really bold blonde chunk in the hair, or like a blonde weave, or a dimensional slice that's chunky dimensional in the hair. Just because you're gonna see those lines, it's not gonna blend as much. So I always foil the hair this way. It's like a rare occasion if I ever foil straight down the mohawk. But yeah, this is my favorite way to do it. It gets the best results, and my clients are always really happy with foiling this way. By the way, I do want to say, you can see her weave right here that I did. It's pretty chunky. It's not such a blended weave where it's super fine that the pieces of her natural dimension are that are dropped out are going to get lost in the hair. I don't want it to be so blended that you don't notice it. So I feel like, because we're going so bright, that I can do like chunkier weaves. That way she has a little bit more pieciness to the dimension that we're leaving in. Normally when I do weaves, I do them really soft and blended, but because we're going to be so blonde, I really wanted to make sure those dimensional pieces stood out. So that's why I did a little bit heavier and chunkier of a weave. And here I tried to zoom in a little bit better. That way you can see how I do my foils over the top of the head to create that nice blended blonde color without having a whole bunch of streaks or chunkiness in the hair. All right, and here's how many foils we did. This was a massive amount of foils, and it probably took me about 3 hours to get everything in. After I pull her foils out, I'm going to have her sit with Fanola No Yellow shampoo and then do an Olaplex also to make sure that she has healthy hair. So today we're doing a very heavy blonding service on my client. We're doing 0 subsections, a slice, and the weave that we're doing is practically minuscule because she does want to have like almost like a double process, but like hardly any dimension. So I have to do even less of a weave than normal. So right now we're going to mix her toner. She's sitting at the bowl with an Olaplex treatment on. We did like a Fanola No Yellow Purple shampoo just to kind of pre-tone her. And now we're gonna tone her, but she doesn't want to be overly cool or ashy, so we're gonna tone to be like a nice bright blonde. Okay, for all of the level 10s, I'm doing equal parts, and then for the rose gold, literally just the teeniest little drop to keep it nice and bright and to prevent it from overtoning. I always get questions on how I style my clients' hair. So I use a flat iron or curl iron, but generally a flat iron. And make sure you keep the temperature around 330, but under 350 is ideal. So curl everything away from the face. And then once it cools down, comb it out. That way all the curls just kind of blend together and it gets a really nice, pretty wave. So that's how we style all of my clients' hair.
That looks so pretty on you. I love that.
I instantly got so tan. I didn't even do anything. Magic.
Yay. How does it look with like your natural?
It looks
is that
good.
okay?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. No, this is
I
great.
hope it's not too much of a natural, like being left out.
No, it looks fantastic. You're good. There we go.
Here's her before again, and here is her after. You can see actually when you just saw her face shot how much brighter it looks. This kind of natural lighting, it can like hit or miss with the way that it shows the color, but it's definitely a lot brighter. She was super happy with the color. She pulls off blonde so nicely because her hair is already probably like a level 7 naturally. The way I charge for these services is by the hour, just because you never know how much bleach and toner and treatments are involved. So the way I charge my clients are $75 an hour. Some people ask, so thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.